Hello, well, my name is Curtis Vaughn, and this is my new channel. I'm a real estate investor, and I've gotten started in wholesaling. I've been doing that for the past year and a half or so. And I've started this channel just to help other investors who are just getting started. And so I want to have like weekly tips and tricks that I've learned along the way to help the next person out and getting started. And I heard Pace Morby once say that when you're making content, make it for yourself. As if you're talking to yourself a year and a half, 2 years ago. So that's who I'm making it for. The person who's brand new and just getting started out. And hopefully whatever I say can help keep you from making any type of mistakes, or you can learn something that can help launch you to another phase of your business. So with that being said, I'm going to start talking about acquisitions. And acquisitions is just acquiring properties. And in doing that, there's a lot of ways to get leads, but once you have a lead, let's say you buy a lead, for example, and you're trying to get a hold of that person, and you call them immediately, they don't pick up, and you can't connect for whatever reason. Then it becomes a game of follow-up in that situation, and the person who follows up the most and the best usually gets that deal. So in doing that, I mean, you can spend hours and hours. I've spent hours and hours and hours trying to get a hold of sellers after I bought the lead or acquired the lead, however I've gotten it. And you can spend a lot of time just texting and cold calling or calling them back or emailing them just to try to get a hold of them. And I spent hours of my life trying to do that. And one day I was like, okay, I got other things I got to focus on. Other parts of my business are suffering because I can't be in two places at once. So I was thinking to myself one day, how can I leverage technology to make this easier for myself? And the thought of AI came to my head. How can I? Because I know ChatGPT can have conversations with people in a very natural and fluid way, and most times people don't even know they're having a conversation with a robot. So I was thinking, like, is there a way to do it? So I started searching, and eventually came across a company called CloseBot, and they've already incorporated and learn how to harness the power of ChatGPT as far as like becoming a sales agent for investors or whatever your business may be. It doesn't have to be real estate necessarily. It can be any type of sales environment, and it can have fluid conversations tailored to whatever you have programmed to talk about, and it can have fluid, natural, human-like conversations to help guide your prospect from a cold lead to somebody that's booking an appointment for you, for example. In my particular case, I prefer not to book an appointment because my schedule's hectic sometimes because I've always got things going on, but I like to be able to follow up with them when I feel like it. So that's how I have my particular CloseBot set up. And so with that being said, I'm gonna kind of just go over how I have it set up. And there's two parts to the system. There is CloseBot that has the AI technology, in one easy to use place. But there's also, you have to plug it into something. You have to put it into connect it to a CRM, for example. And the best CRM to connect it to is Go High Level. Go High Level is one of the most powerful CRMs I've ever come across, and I've used several, but it is amazing. The level of automation you can put into it, from email follow-ups to text message follow-ups, it can even help you with your branding. It's an extremely powerful software. But in any case, so once you combine Go High Level and CloseBot together, you have an amazing system that can follow up with people and do all the things I was doing for myself, and just do it on autopilot. So let me just dive into it so you can have a little bit more context of what I'm talking about. So this is Go High Level. So when I bring my leads into the system, kind of looks like, let's see here. When I bring my leads into the system, it looks kind of like this. They're all just here. And what I can do is I can add a tag to individual leads, and that brings them into a predetermined automation that I've already set up. I program automations are like simple programs that you can create to interact with your leads, basically. And in this particular case, I have a new lead follow-up automation program. And what it does is really cool. It will automatically text people a predetermined text message periodically over the course of however long I pre-programmed it. It can do it every 24 hours, every 4 hours, every couple days, 3 times a day if you wanted to. But it will it's pre-programmed to follow up with people and text them, and reach out to them and see if they're ready to sell. So here's an example. Hello, blank. It'll fill in the name automatically from your CRM. Hello, blank. I hope you're having a great day. My name is Jessica. That's what I've named my robot. Female names are less aggressive than male names. It gets a great response rate. It's amazing. But in any case, hello, my name is Jessica, and I'm Curtis Vaughn's assistant at Platinum Investment Group, LLC. We just wanted to touch base with you and see if whatever their address is still for sale. We're looking forward to working with you, Jessica, at Platinum Investment Group, LLC. And I've got it so that if they don't reply, it'll just keep texting them periodically how I pre-programmed it to follow up with them. And it'll keep texting them until it gets a response. And once it gets a response, that's when the AI takes over, which is really cool. And then once it responds, like I said, the CloseBot will take over, and it's powered by ChatGPT, and it will actually have a fluid conversation with that individual, gathering the information that I need so I can determine if I want to call this person back or if it's a deal at all. And it's amazing. It saved me so much time. So let's dive into CloseBot so you can see what I'm talking about. In my particular case, I have it set up to ask a series of questions. Once they respond and say, yes, I'm interested in selling, the next question it's going to ask is, how much do you want for your property? It'll just immediately ask that. And 9 times out of 10, they'll tell the robot, I want such and such price. And then from there, it'll ask, for example, is this a rental property? And so how much are you collecting in rent, which is important to know. And keep in mind, once it's gathering this information, it's plugging that information automatically into my Go High Level contact for that particular person, and saving that information for me. So I can go back and reference this information. So it's not just asking it, it's saving it for me in a CRM. So I can just read over it at my leisure. The next question is going to ask is condition, and in particular, like the foundation, HVAC, roof, those type of nitty-gritty questions. So ask those questions. And the cool thing is, like you see this number here, I can predetermine how many times it'll ask those questions. If I don't put a number here, it will not move forward until the person asks this question. If I do put a number here, it says max attempts, it will stop asking a question after 2 times in this particular case, which is handy because some questions are more important than others. You don't necessarily want it to get hung up on a less important question. But there may be some questions that are deal breakers that you have to get an answer, otherwise there is no passing it. So it's kind of your call, and you get that kind of control over the system, and it does a fantastic job staying within those parameters. So let's keep moving forward. Then we move on to motivation. Why do you want to sell? Which is extremely important. If there's no motivation, there's no deal. And then timeline. Yeah, like how soon do they want to sell? That's basically what it's asking. And my latest question, this is one I just added within the past couple of days. Would they be interested, would they consider seller financing? And the cool thing is, it will actually explain what seller financing is. Because I had a guy, and I will go over that lead, who just last night asked, what is seller financing? He'd never heard of it, hadn't considered it. And it actually intelligently answered this question, which I didn't pre-program. This is all I've told ChatGPT to say, basically. This is ask the seller if they would be open to seller financing the home, or would they only entertain a cash offer? And we'll see later on how it actually responds to somebody who actually asks a question. This is all I've programmed it to say. Just ask the question. But it will intelligently answer what is seller financing. And that's a cool thing. Like ChatGPT is so intelligent, you can program it to be friendly, you can program it to be aggressive, you can program it to be nice, cordial, intelligent, funny, witty. You can give it a personality. and it will stay within those parameters. Another cool thing is that it can be empathetic to people. Like I've had a client or a seller say he was in the hospital for surgery for his knee, and it intelligently responded to him. It actually was empathetic, say, "Oh man, I'm sorry that you were in the hospital. It must be tough going through that situation." And then it kept going through a series of questions. So yeah, it's amazing. Now, I have put hundreds of people through this system. I think 400, maybe 60 or so have gone through this pipeline. And out of that, all those hundreds of people, only 2 that I can think of have ever called into the fact that it's a robot. Only 2 out of 400 plus interactions have ever figured it out that it's a robot. Most of the time people think and assume it's a real living flesh and blood person, which is incredible. So it really is like having an entire sales force at your disposal. Not only does it work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because it will respond no matter what time the person responds to the text message. It will do it at 12 o'clock at night. It'll do it at 3 o'clock in the morning. It'll do it at lunchtime. It'll do it at 4 o'clock, and it will never take a break. And it can have hundreds of conversations all at one time. So it's literally like having an entire acquisitions department at my disposal, but even better than that, it's bilingual, it's multilingual. I've had Spanish conversations before. It will automatically start speaking in Spanish to somebody. Doesn't happen often, but it can do it, which is absolutely incredible. It's like having an entire sales force at my disposal, handling these leads, and it does it in a fantastic fashion. And just to give you an example, I'm going to run over a recent lead that just happened, I guess yesterday. And I'll blur out the name and information, contact information, so you can't see it, but you'll be able to see the conversation that I had with this person, or not me, but the ChatGPT basically. All right. This is a pretty fresh one. Now you got the initial text and got put into the system basically on August 10th. And here's the text message that I sent out, like I said, on autopilot. This is predetermined, it's not intelligent, it's just an automatic follow-up coming through real high level text message. Like I said, and then once he responds, that's when CloseBot and ChatGPT take over the conversation and just seamlessly interact with this individual. And you'll see it. Hello, blank. I hope you're having a great day. My name is Jessica, and I'm Curtis Vaughn's assistant at Platinum Investment Group. We just wanted to touch base with you and see if blank, his address, is still for sale. We're looking forward to working with you. And he says yes. So at that point, CloseBot and ChatGPT take over the conversation. And she says, great to hear. Could you let us know what price you're considering for the property? We're keen to make this process smooth and beneficial for you. He says, I'm willing to sell the other 2 properties next to it. So I'm assuming he's got multiple properties. So he's got one property that we were talking about, and he says, I'm willing to sell the next 2 properties to it as well. So that sounds like a fantastic opportunity. Could you share what asking price you have in mind for each of the properties? We're interested in making a fair offer. He says, I will sell all 3 properties for $65,000. So I guess each one could probably sell for $65K, which may be a good deal. I don't know. We'll see. That's a great starting point. Thanks for sharing that. Just to clarify, are any of these properties currently being rented out? If so, could you share how much rent you're collecting? This will help us understand the full potential of the investment. No, the properties are vacant. Thanks for letting me know. To better understand the value that we can offer, could you tell me about the condition of the property? Specifically, I'm interested in the foundation, roof, plumbing, electrical system, kitchen, bathrooms, and flooring. And he goes on to list each property's address and say, for this particular property, a total renovation is needed. For this next property, a total renovation is needed. And then for the last property, it's a vacant lot. Okay, and it says, thank you for the details. For the properties needing total renovation, could you specify the main areas that require the most attention? For instance, how are the foundations, the roofs, and major systems like plumbing and electrical? Here's a cool thing. Like I mentioned before, I programmed the condition question to be asked twice. He didn't really give an in-depth enough response for the robot, because like I said, I was asking about the roof, the HVAC, and all this other stuff. He just answered in a very general fashion. So that's why he's asking that same follow-up question again. You know, I don't feel like it was necessarily needed, but hey, it's cool that it asked it the way I want it. So it's trying to get more information. And it did pull more information out of him. It says foundation is reusable. He said foundation is reusable, but you would have to replace the roof, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. So I got a little bit more out of him. It got a little bit more out of him. And then it moves on to the next question. It sounds like there's quite a bit of work needed on those properties. May I ask what prompted you to decide to sell them now? He says, needed funds to finish another project. Understood. It's important to have the resource to complete your projects. Are you discussing seller financing? Are you open to discussing seller financing for these properties, or would you prefer a straightforward cash offer? And he goes on to say cash offer. Then he asks another question. He says, what would seller financing look like? Which is pretty cool. Says for a cash offer, we aim to close. Now, just keep in mind, I just told it to ask about seller financing. I did not tell it to explain seller financing. I didn't explain what seller financing was. I didn't describe what seller financing is. I just said, ask the question, would they consider seller financing? And not only did it ask the question, but it's explaining to him what seller financing is. Now, it says for a cash offer, we aim to close quickly, covering all closing costs and buying the properties as is. With seller financing, you could potentially receive monthly payments, which might provide a steady income stream, which option sounds more aligned with your current needs, and how soon you're looking to close the deal. He goes on to ask a follow-up question. He's a little interested now about seller financing. He says, how many months will we receive income, and what would the income be? What would your cash offer be? If we did a cash offer, I would close within 30 days. Now she goes on to explain more about seller financing. It says for seller financing, the terms can vary, typically ranging from 1 to 5 years, depending on what works best for both parties. The monthly income will be based on the agreed upon purchase price and interest rate. Regarding the cash offer, I'll need to discuss the specifics with Curtis Vaughn, who will be reaching out to you shortly from my number to provide a detailed offer and discuss the possibilities of closing within 30 days. Can I get specifics on both? Both options are interesting. So there you go. It not only did it ask the questions I asked it to ask, but it gave definition to seller financing, explained it and broke it down to him in a very intelligent way, probably better than I would have done. And and got the information I needed. So I can go back and look at this lead, look at the address, look at the nearby properties, get comps, do all this stuff where I even have a conversation with this man. I know exactly what I'm walking into, and I can decide if I want to engage this prospect at all. Or maybe the numbers work, maybe they don't. But I get to make that determination on my time, not on somebody else's time. I'm leveraging the technology to help me make my business more efficient and actually be free to do other things that require my time and attention, and not the mundane task of following up, or even hiring somebody and paying somebody to follow up. This system does it far better than I think a human would do or could do. It could have, like I said, hundreds of conversations at once, or it could just have one at a time, however many leads you feed it. And it can do it in an intelligent fashion. And at this point, I'm pretty confident it does it intelligently every single time. So anyway, that is what I'm doing on acquisitions. I thought that was pretty neat. And if you got any value out of that, please subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back with more tips and tricks later on. And if you want to see a little bit more in-depth on how you set up the automations like I have here and close bot, all that cool stuff, maybe I'll do a more in-depth video on something like that down the road. All right, thanks and have a great day. Bye-bye.